do you think, Rabbi, is more to blame for so many casualties and deaths in Gaza? Is it Israel or Hamas?
Well, look, Israel has been targeting, claiming to target the bad guys. But meanwhile, they have killed 1,000 civilians. They have hurt. They have wounded over 6,000 civilians, and it's inevitable if you're going to make a war against the people. After all, Hamas, the Palestinians don't have an army. They don't have an air force. They don't. So where are they? Of course, they're located in the people. This is the people's rebellion against the oppression there.
You know what? Welcome to Gimme 5. First of all, Carol Costello asking that question is, she is what she is. Rabbi Michael Lerner, ladies and gentlemen, is what some Jews might call a self-hating Jew. He is certainly a pro-Palestinian, anti-Israel Jew, in my opinion. And he's disgusting, in my opinion, in his viewpoints, in his presentation, and what he says about the state of Israel. He ought to be ashamed of himself, but far from it, he's not. In fact, he's proud. In fact, he takes it even a step further. Watch.
And our Torah says, when you go into your land, remember to love the stranger, not just live peacefully. Love the stranger. Treat the other with real caring and respect. Unfortunately, Israel's occupation of the West Bank and the blockade of Gaza has been the opposite. It has been a policy of oppression and domination without any serious attempt to negotiate a final peace agreement.
Yeah, you know what? I doubt that Michael Lerner is so ignorant that he doesn't know the facts. I fear he's, in my opinion, purposely misrepresenting the facts because he's not a stupid man. He has to know Israel got out of Gaza completely, gave it over unconditionally to the Palestinian people, and then they elected Hamas, and then the rockets started firing, and then the blockade. Okay? It was not blockaded when they gave it to the Palestinians. It's been blockaded since the rockets started firing. But, you know, Michael Lerner, he doesn't understand that, I guess. Baloney, he doesn't. More.
And and for years, Israel has complained that there was no point in negotiating with the Palestinian Authority because they didn't really represent Hamas.
Rabbi,
then Hamas agreed to be part of the negotiations, and Israel cut it off.
Let me ask you this. Hamas is a terrorist organization.
And I have no sympathy for them.
So you're not talking about Hamas, the love and care part, right?
No, no, of course not. But the way to end this struggle is to end the occupation of the West Bank and the blockade of Gaza.
And the way to end the blockade of Gaza is to demilitarize and get rid of Hamas and make sure no more rockets fly out of Hamas or no more rockets come into Gaza. Now, Carol Costello called Hamas a terrorist group? What time is it? Is she still working there? She said on CNN Hamas is a terrorist group? And she's paid by CNN? Wow. Somebody check and see if she's still got a job at CNN. Thank you very much. Man, what guts. More.
And I understand why Hamas is not jumping for the ceasefire accord right now, because while the blockade has gone on, the people of Gaza have suffered terribly. Hundreds of children dying every month of malnutrition because the aid keeps them from getting the food and the equipment that is needed for adequate health care in Gaza. So I don't support Hamas. I think Hamas is a terrible and oppressive force there. But the central issue is the occupation, and the occupation and the blockade have to end.
All right, enough with the occupation and the blockade. The blockade, again, will end when the Hamas stops being Hamas and stops firing rockets into Israel. Now, listen to this. This is perhaps the most disgusting comment of all. This is the final cut.
But the biggest tragedy is for Judaism itself, because when Judaism is represented by the Israeli army as though this is what Judaism is about, it's a desecration of God's name, an abandonment of our Torah, an abandonment of our highest values.
No, to Michael Lerner, Judaism, the way I see it, in my opinion, is about Jews laying down and dying, whether it's being led to the gas chamber or succumbing to Hamas's rockets. That would make him happy.